some hockey. Energetic, passionate, and savvy. Gouche Live. Brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Gouche.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. It's the Gouche. Listen, Kerry Goulet all the way here in the studio in Toronto. We've got a great show. We got some guy in Pittsburgh. We got some guy in northern Quebec. Can't remember the city. We got Jerry Hauser. I think it was a Tesla studio. And then we got Sam, that Sam Trapolino guy. He's way out there, like that way. Now, what's going on, kid? What a great show. You know, it's Gouche Live, Aussie style. I made a call as soon as Sammy said, hey, why don't we do something for that Slapshot movie that was 44 years ago? And then I made a call to one of my friends, and then all of a sudden these three other dudes show up. So really looking forward to it. We've got some rules, and the rules are no shrimp on the Barbie. We can't mention that, or you can't say good day, mate. All right, those are the rules that are laid down.
So I'll knock them off the show once those two rules are broken.
Absolutely. Hey, all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Good eye, mate. We've got our good buddy, Ron Hughes. Always great to have him on. Listen, as we go through it, we're going to try and keep the answers a little bit short. You're going to be the referee. Make sure that we're having some fun. Make sure we get, the stories from Dave Hanson, Jerry Hauser, Yvonne Barrette, and of course, if Johnny shows up, that Johnny Upton, who's right over my shoulder there, if he shows up, we'll get him on. I know that he was really looking forward to it. So listen, before we get started, let's remind everybody why we're here. In 1977, February 25th, these gentlemen that are coming up on the screen were shooting a movie, and it was called Slapshot.
Well, yeah, a very good, famous movie.
Yes. Let's take a look at the opening scene.
All right. Give me one quick second here.
You are the best executive producer I got.
Thank you very much. Here you go, gentlemen. Enjoy.
You're the only...
50% off on ladies' Carlson with the look of leather. Come on and see it. 53 Market Street is the site of the Winking Owl. WBROL, Charlestown. The place.
Channel 8, 11 o'clock movies. Richard Anthony and myself. High Rib Chef. Now, back to Jim Carr's Sports Talk.
Hi, Jim Carr again. Dennis, I know that some in our audience don't know the finer points of hockey. Could you tell them, for example, what is icing?
Well, icing happen when the puck come down, bang, before the other guys. Mm-hmm. Nobody there, Mm-hmm. My arm comes out, then the game stop, then start up.
Mm-hmm. I see. What is high sticking?
High sticking happen when the guy take the stick, and he go like that. You don't do that.
You don't do that?
Oh, no, never, never.
Why not?
Against the rules. You're stupid when you do that. Just some English pig with no brain
Dennis,
at all,
What is slashing?
Slashing is like that,
Mm-hmm. And there's a penalty for that?
Yeah. And for a trip also, like that, and for hook like this, and for spear, like that. Mm-hmm. All bad.
Bad.
You do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame,
Mm-hmm.
And then you get free.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Sport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
I love it when Carr says, oh, I think that went well. All right, that's the opening scene, and that just starts it off because we've got three of the characters. Obviously, Yvonne Barrette, Danny Lemieux, who you saw in the movie. I did once in Hanover with him, Jim Carr, and he actually did spear me. So that was the crazy thing about it. And he did feel shame, there's no question. And then one of my favorites, all of them are my favorites, but I love this guy because he makes me laugh every time I talk to him because he bought me an electric reindeer bottle of wine. Who buys somebody electric reindeer in a bottle of wine? Dave Hanson. And of course, Jerry Hauser, somewhere in a parking lot at a restaurant. I knew the wife came out and ordered the steak medium rare with mussels. So we'll get a chance to talk to him in the Tesla. And we're just hoping that Alan Nichols, Johnny Upton in the movie, gets his pants back on from doing the, obviously the scene showing off that fashion show. But before we get the boys up, I want to bring up my founding member of Stop Concussions Australia. He's a big part of the Ice Hockey Classic now, Sam Trapolino.
Gouche, how are you? I'm all ready. As you see, I've got my Mario Lemieux top, so I'm all ready for tonight's show.
No. It was a Chiefs movie. Chiefs. Not
you said Mario
not
Lemieux.
Penguins.
No. You said Mario Lemieux.
Well, no, Dave Hanson is on. Dave lives in Pittsburgh. Hang
on. There's a Lemieux coming on though, right?
Yeah. And Crosby's going to be right behind him. It's actually Danny Lemieux, but he's only an actor. It's not his real name's Yvonne Barrette. The French.
Okay. I need a new jumper then for sure, right?
Yeah. Turn around and look. Do you see the guy in the goalie equipment? Yeah, that way.
That one.
Oh my God.
Okay. There's that translation barrier between your Canadian maple syrup stuff and our clear Australian.
All right, stop making fun of us or we'll get some shrimp on the bobby. Hey, listen, obviously you, before we bring the boys up, I know that you're a big Slapshot fan. You fell in love with hockey when you got a chance to come out to the Ice Hockey Classic. You'd never seen the game at that level. You fell in love with it. And then, of course, you had to start watching all the movies. Is this, be honest, you can lie, because Dave Hanson cannot come through the screen and give you a shot. So here's my question. Is it your favorite hockey movie?
A hockey movie, absolutely. I mean, considering it's up against the Mighty Ducks, which, a hell of a trilogy, soon to be a quadrilogy, I believe, the new one coming out soon. But I think the more you watch Slapshot, the more you understand. I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times now. My wife and I watched it twice, kind of between finding out when the boys are coming on till now. And, watching that opening scene with Yvonne, I'm still in stitches with that. And I grew up listening to Jerry because he was voices of Transformers. So I used to watch that cartoon. So his voice kind of, rocks me to sleep, I should say. But no, I'm stoked for this, Coach. Enough talking. Let's bring the music up.
Yeah, you know how Jerry makes me fall asleep watching one of the Brady Bunch movies that he was involved in. You know, he was married to some famous girl. I can't remember her name, but
I heard there was rumors that there was an affair going on with the house cleaner. Just rumors.
No, don't start that crap. This is about Slapshot. We're not talking about Housewives of Adelaide. Hey, listen, Jerry, we'll ask him, Autobot or Decepticon?
Decepticon.
That's stupid.
It was an Autobot.
All right, listen, enough. Honestly, that's enough. Right now, I want to bring up one of our good friends. He's been to Australia. He has been the coach of the American team. I don't think he lost the game. And I can tell you right now, he's one of the world famous Hanson brothers, Dave Hanson. Hi, Mr. Hanson.
Sammy, good to see you again, buddy.
You too. Really good to see you. Thanks for the well wishes when I was stuck up with my eye last time you were on with Gouche, so appreciated them.
Well, good. Good to hear. Yeah, I see you got rid of that third eye, so that's good.
Yeah, it's all worked out beautifully.
Hey, listen, we are having a little bit of trouble getting our friend Alan Nichols on. So what I'm going to do is, because I got to send him another link, I'm going to let you two chat for a second, and then I'll bring the other two guys up when we find Alan. It's usually Alan missed the bus, so we got to improvise. You played 33 games in the National Hockey League and 103 in that World Hockey Association. You grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, very cold, just like myself, just a few hours north in, of course, Winnipeg. Talk to us a little bit about, before we get into the movie, he's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and so I feel real bad for you, Sammy, but you two can have a little bit of Pittsburgh Penguin love talk till I find Alan. All right, here we go.
What brings you on? What makes you a Penguins fan there, Sammy boy?
Pretty much when I first went to the Ice Hockey Classic, that was my first real taste of hockey. Came home and my daughter and I were looking for something to do together that one of us wasn't good at already. We tried sports that I was good at, and then it was me teaching her. So we wanted to start something that was even keel. And so started with hockey. And then as soon as she fell in love with Crosby, obviously being one of the main stars, I thought, well, it was very easy for me to kind of jump in with her and we'd support something together instead of being at each other's heads like we normally are. And I thought I'd become a Mario Lemieux fan, which wasn't a bad choice at the time. And so and we stuck with it. We're not people that are all of a sudden, the Penguins aren't going so well, we'll change. So we'll be Penguins through and through.
Well, they're both class acts besides being great hockey players too. So you got a couple Hall of Famers there.
I would have loved to have been riding shotgun for him through some of those concussions. I think I would have stopped a few of them. I didn't mind getting the hands dirty playing footy and stuff. And that boy copped a bit of a hiding that didn't need to be done. What's your thoughts on current day hockey to old hockey? Like with that, especially someone who didn't mind dropping the mitts.
Well, that's one of the biggest things I miss about the game today is the fisticuffs. There's certainly nowhere near the number of fisticuffs there were, and I think there was a place in the game for it. I still think there's a place in the game for it. But aside from that, the speed of the game is much, much greater than it was back when I played in the 70s and the 80s. And the talent level is across the board is high. So still the most exciting game in the world, next to footy, of course. But enjoy watching it. It's a fun, and even now, without the fans, which is kind of odd to watch them on TV. But the neat thing is that they're playing each other, more than once every couple of weeks. They're playing them back to back, and you're thinking that by the end of the season, there's going to be some pretty darn good rivalries going on. So maybe that'll kind of help instigate a few fisticuffs along the way.
I'm with you. You're on mute, Gooch. Amateur hour. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah,
Sorry.
He's
getting used to it.
I found Alan. I forgot to send him the transfer for the bus, so he had to get an Uber to get to the studio. Hey, listen, the one thing I want to comment, now we're going to bring Yvonne up, and we'll get everybody to introduce themselves, that whole kind of thing, have a name tag. But I do want to say something. Honestly, Sammy, if you're going to get involved with us, it's not the mitts. Like, I know you're thinking that these guys are wearing snow mitts and gloves. They're hockey gloves, okay? So get the terminology or you're off the show, all right?
Sorry. Absolutely.
You're already wearing a pink Pittsburgh Penguins jersey, for God's sakes.
It was the only thing that I had that had Lemieux or something to do with Slapshot. I'm sorry to say my collection's not there.
Well, there he is. That is Denny Lemieux, but see how he spells Lemieux?
Yes. See, I don't understand. That's like saying Patrick Roy is spelled R-O-Y. I don't get it.
I was the first Lemieux.
Yeah. I'm holding up the family heritage for you.
Okay, as we get a lot of guys on here, it gets loud. So I know myself and Sam will go off, let you guys all talk, the four of you, we just want you to tell your story, about obviously being in the movie Slapshot, but more importantly right now, we want to hear from you, Yvonne. Who are you?
I am
you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, a short, squat French Canadian. Yeah, they were looking for that sort of guy. They came to Montreal, Mike Fenton and George Royal, and they found me. I was living east of Quebec. I received a call in the morning. It was 9 o'clock from somebody of l'Union des Artistes, and she asked me, she said, would you like to do a movie with Paul Newman? I said, sure. But I kept doing my things. But I received another call a few minutes later. It was my friend Donald Pilon, an actor with whom I had done some movies. And he was leading George Hill and Mike Fenton through the French actors in Montreal. They had already auditioned maybe 300 people. Everybody wanted to play with Paul Newman, but they weren't happy with the people they met. So Donald told them, I will bring you to Kalani tomorrow, and you will see 2 extracts from movies I did with a guy called Yvonne Barrette. And they looked at those movies, and a few minutes later, yes, we want to see him today. So I had to take a plane from Montjoly and I made it in Montreal for 5 minutes to 6, and I was at the Ritz-Carlton. I met Mike Fenton, and he brought me to dinner. He said, "How did you make it?" I said, "Please tell me about the movie." I did not know nothing about the movie. Was it a Western? What was it? And he told me the story. The movie starts on you, and he tell me the whole story. After the dinner, we went back to his room. I read the script from one cover to the other. And around midnight, I did the opening scene on a tape recorder, and he gave me the lines. And after we've been through the pages, he started improvising. And I had a good idea who was the Nilam already. So he said, Yvonne, I think it's okay. You will get an answer pretty soon, in a week maybe. And it was not long. And I received the script, and that was funny. I was living in Gaspésie, far from Montreal. And we had call from the costume director in Los Angeles. And my wife was taking measure with the tape. and that was it. And a few weeks after that, I was in Johnstown doing the first reading. And we're still there 45 years after. That's
you sure magic. They said Paul Newman and not Dave Hanson, right? They said Paul Newman.
They said Newman, first.
All right. Well, I can't thank you enough for staying up late. I know I saw some emails going back and forth. It was past somebody's bedtime. I'm not going to say whose. And the other said, no, it's time for my bath. So I'm going to leave that one out. Hey, listen, let's bring up Jerry Hauser. Now, what's really crazy about this, Jerry, is that Dave, you were actually supposed to play Dave Killer Carlson, but they found that Jerry looked better as Dave Dave Killer Carlson than you.
They wanted someone
so they said,
that could
they said, Dave, you just stay a Hanson. So tell us about that, Jerry. Obviously, you being the fighter that you are, you stepped into a role. Did you know what you're getting yourself into?
Not in the least. Not in the least. I wasn't. I mean, I was somewhat familiar with hockey, being out in. But I was from Los Angeles, so I mean, we had the Kings, but people were just learning about hockey at that point. You know, by the time when the Kings came to town a few years prior to us doing the movie, the only place you could buy any hockey equipment was through the Sears catalog. I mean, there was no understanding of hockey out here, and going back and doing the movie, I certainly didn't know about minor league hockey, and I had no idea about any of that. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience.
Now, of course, you got to meet the Hanson brothers, the real tough guys. Is Dave as tough as they say he is, or is he on set? He was probably just like a marshmallow.
Oh, he's a wuss. He's a wuss. They were lucky they put me in that role. You know.
All right, so watch this. We're going to show a little clip of the movie just to make sure you understand how much of a wuss they are. Now, bring it up.
We all saw it with our own eyes. Damn lard ass, Barkley Donaldson. I'm telling you, he jumped us.
Sure did. Yeah.
I mean, gloves off, stick down, no warning. He challenged the Chiefs.
Call us names.
Call us names. But Dave was there.
Dave's the killer. Yeah. Dave's the killer.
Dave's a mess.
So your buddy Alan called you a mess.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of confused.
I'll tell you that the makeup in that scene, I mean, they did make me up for it, but at the same time, I'll tell you something. You know, actual hockey players are really big and they're really tough. And I'm an actor. We shot that scene and we rehearsed it. You know, the one with Barkley Donaldson, we rehearsed it and then lined up the cameras so that They lined up the camera so that when he's punching me, he's missing me, but my head's going back. It's looking like he's hitting me. And they went rolling action, and I'm going, hey, take that sentence back. And I, break my stick, and then we go and he starts hitting me. He hit me in the face so many times. So, you're all pumped up. So we're wrestling around, and we're going at it. The director's yelling, keep going, keep going. I am bleeding all over myself. There is going, let's go. And, I mean, I was stunned to say the least.
All right, well, listen, let's bring that guy up that calls you a mess.
Oh, he's finally here.
He showed up. There he is.
Jerry. Alan. Well, welcome, Alan. Did we wake you?
Well, what are you doing? Are you in your car?
I am in my car. We were out to dinner. Wait, you can't hear. Wait, let me see if you guys can see the traffic. Can you see LA traffic out there?
Oh, my God.
I love it.
There's my wife. She's driving right
Oh,
over
I
there.
thought, oh, hang on, Jerry.
I'm in my car, too, Jerry.
Part of this.
Hey, Alan, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Sam.
The 10 o'clock bus.
Well, Alan, sorry.
The 10 o'clock bus goes at 10 o'clock next time, all right? So don't forget that.
Well, I have to tell you, I went on the first StreamYard you sent me last night. Then I went on the second StreamYard, and then the third time worked.
Yeah.
Well, because
and then he fell asleep in the tub again.
I'm
actually watching the hockey game.
So hey, let's make this interview quick because my Winnipeg Jets are playing against the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes,
hey,
that's true.
Alan, talk to us about obviously meeting the three, Jerry, Yvonne, and Dave. The first question I want to ask you, of course, being Johnny Upton, did you really pose in that fashion show?
I never actually got out there.
You were going to pull your
I never revealed myself, but I never actually got out on the stage because the scene ended as I went through the curtains.
You just getting out there would have cleared the crowd. Listen, talk to us about how much fun you had making the movie, obviously, with Jerry, Yvonne, because Yvonne, is one of the funniest guys in just him saying hello. You laugh at it because he's such a marvel at entertaining. And Dave Hanson was supposed to be this real tough and rough guy. Is this true, or these?
The thing that happened was we all became friends, which was really bizarre. No, I mean, not that it was bizarre, but it was that we just all of a sudden became these friends and drinking buddies. I know Yvonne doesn't imbibe anymore, but
I did my.
He did that.
You did enough during that film.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but we had such a great time. I mean, it was just about having a good time, don't you think? I mean, my goodness, I never thought that we'd still be chatting about it 45 years later. Did I just say that? 45 years later?
Yeah, absolutely. We survived.
I mean, what's going on? This is crazy. I actually spoke to Ned 3 days ago. He said to say hi to you all.
Okay, good.
I sent Michael Ontkean a happy birthday wish a couple weeks ago, and he responded. He said, "Hey, thanks, miss you guys."
I haven't seen him in probably 45 years.
Yeah, exactly 45 years.
What I understand.
The same thing with Ned.
I got a book of poetry from him, from Ontkean.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he wrote a book of poetry. It's pretty weird. But
I think he was writing that book during the filming of Slapshot, from what I remember. He had Post-it notes all over his hotel room.
I never saw his room.
It was just beside mine. We were pretty close during the shooting, but after the movie was released, and we never met. Yeah, but, weird. Is he still in Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay.
Alan, you mentioned about the fact how strange it is 45 years later that we're all still friends. And I think that's part of the feel you get from the movie, is that the friendships and the connections between everyone was really authentic. You know, I mean, needless to say, Dave and the Hanson brothers, you know, they all certainly kept it organic and real on the set. I mean, there was no room for anybody's ego out there. I mean, they kept things in check that way. But it was all very real and very authentic in the way people were with each other. It wasn't like a normal movie set.
Well, you know, if you think about it, George Roy Hill was extremely brave in what he did, because this combination of actors, still don't consider myself an actor, but actors and hockey players was a great idea, because he put two groups together. I mean, that are totally work well together and fell into each other together, and just, I mean, God, how many times did we go out and party and have good times and dinners? And we went to a recording studio and recorded a couple of songs. We had guitar sessions around the pool. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, we were all pretty close during the shooting, but from 2002, when we started doing fundraisings and traveling together, and I think we becoming closer, and from this time it's fun. It's just fun, no work.
You know, Alan, you mentioned about George Roy Hill and bringing actors and hockey players together. I think what the other thing that was brave about him too, and that he really understood, is the way this is more Dave's story, but the way he let the guys go. You know, they had all their lines scripted, and Dave, you should really tell the story, but they had all their lines scripted, and it was feeling way stiff. Dave, why don't you tell that story?
Well, yeah, it was, he wanted us, the first scene he had us set up, I think, was in the locker room, and we had some scripted lines. He said action, we said it, he said cut, let's try it again. And then after the third time, he kind of sat down with us, says, boys, this isn't working. You know, what would you know, just tell us what you would do, what would you say in this circumstance, what would you do, and just kind of go from there. And it worked.
Yeah.
And I think, as Alan was saying, to George's credit, I think he kind of let that go with a lot of guys, because I think a lot of those lines, like Dave's a killer and Alan, Dave's a mess, if I recall, I think Dave's a mess was improvised, wasn't it, Alan?
Right.
Yeah, no, I just came up, but that's what I mean. He in allowing you guys freedom, that kind of spilled over to our performance, and we said, wait, I guess we're allowed to, you know, it made it a real comfortable place to play and have a good time. And I
got a question to ask you guys, because I actually read it today in a book. A guy sent me a book, and like a top 100 movies of all sports movies of all time, and they had Slapshot ranked in, I think, number 6. But when I was reading it,
number 6.
I said to the guy that wrote it, he said that Nancy Dowd had originally started out writing this film as a documentary, and then George convinced her to write it more into a movie form. Have you ever heard that before?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's a good question to ask Ned, Alan, when you talk to him next.
Yeah, well, you know, the funny thing about Ned, because obviously it was Ned carrying around the tape recorder and telling his sister the stories that kind of inspired it all. But the one thing about Ned was he got bitten by the bug. He wanted to be in the film industry so badly after that film. And he came out to LA, and he lived with Nancy, his sister. And then he moved down they were living in Topanga, I think. And then he moved in with me, and we lived in West LA.
It was beautiful.
He just loved being in the business. He loved it. And then ended up making quite a career out of it. You know,
it's funny you say that, because Gary, I was going to send you a copy my wife and I were going through, of all things, an old photo album of our wedding. And there, stuffed in a telegram type envelope, was 3 telegrams, four telegrams. One from you, Jerry.
Yeah.
Saying, yeah, give me some BS line you couldn't make it for, you were shooting a film, which we all know Slapshot was the last thing you ever really done of any secret substance. But then, and then I sent you, Alan, a picture of it. And then one was from George Roy Hill, and the other one was from Ned. And Ned's comments was, hey, Dave, sorry I can't make it. But I plan on playing next year, so keep your head up. So, at least at that time, it was July of 77. Ned must have still think he was going to play another year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, he didn't know what he was going to do, but he kept saying to me, like we'd go out for beers and stuff, and he kept saying to me, I'd really like to get into this. And a friend of mine, a TV host, did this show on different towns he would visit. His name was Don McGowan, and he was doing a show in LA, and he needed a production assistant. I said, Ned, I can get you on this show. So he went down and he worked it for the week or something. And then much later, I got him a gig. I was doing an Altman film, and I got hired as to be behind the camera as a first assistant director. And I needed a second AD, and I called Ned. I said, Ned, come on, we're going to do a movie together. And it was really funny because it was my first movie as a first AD, and it was his first movie as a second AD. Neither one of us knew anything, but we made it up as we went along, and it turned out pretty good. It was called Streamers. It's a good movie.
Hey, listen, guys, Sam has a question here, but just hang on. I wanted to make sure that everybody knew Jerry Hauser, who's in his Tesla studio, is part of the Brady Bunch. We're going to ask you a couple of questions about that before you go. But Captain Johnny, you're a singer. What we found out is the JB and the Playboys.
Yes.
I know that Dave's really interested to hear you sing. Is it true?
I've heard him sing.
He's heard me sing. But, I hate, I'm going to do some shameless promotion.
Of course you are.
My original band, JB and the Playboys, our album from 56 years ago just got re-released digitally. It's available everywhere, even in Australia.
Everybody showers.
Everybody should buy it.
Hey, Dave, do you have that on 8-track?
It was never on 8-track. It was on vinyl, and that was it.
It was on jungle drums.
Yeah.
Hey, and everybody knows that Yvonne was an actual actor. Not that you weren't, guys, but obviously there it is, JV and the Playboys.
Look at that.
Now our executive producer pulls everything out on the nights when he thinks he's important. Hey, listen, Yvonne, tell us about your acting. Give us one quick story, because we know that this was not your only fame. You are a tremendous actor. Tell us the one that you told me about recently that you've been working on. You worked on.
Oh, I was an actor, yes, for sure. I had already done maybe 10 French-Canadian movies before Slapshot. But that's the only American movie I made. I came back to Quebec, and that experience was really big for me. I had a drinking problem at the time, and I cured it.
I thought you drank pretty good.
No, yeah.
I didn't see the problem.
I think it was a problem at all.
35 years ago, and I came to country, and I did some theater, a lot of theater. Then after the movie, important theater, and I still did important movies in Quebec too. But that's it. Slapshot was a fairy tale for me. That it brought me to Europe 4 times with Kerry Goulet.
Yes.
Yes, we've been to Australia. We're still there.
Gouche, hold up. Gouche, wait a minute.
Fun. That's
I don't know what Jerry.
keeps me young.
I'm not sure what.
Say that. Almost every day I receive pictures from fans. They put picture in an envelope, picture they print, and they want me to sign them, and they put an envelope, make me send them back, and
Yeah.
it keeps me busy.
Hey,
very much.
Hey, Yvonne, Jerry's making me sick here.
Am I
where
still
are
on?
you? I love it.
This has been going on, so I got home, so I'm making my way down to my studio, so I can.
Oh, we love it. Okay,
I can
give
get
us a
on
sec.
and not be in my car anymore.
Fantastic. Thank you for the tour
Sorry
of the
about
mansion, Jerry. Thank you for the tour. Don't go to the
Yeah, I
bathroom.
know.
Hey, listen, Sammy's coming up. He's got a really important question for Dave.
Actually, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to grab two, Dave, because if I don't jump in, I'm just going to sit back and watch the show. This is from Val and myself. Who came up with the idea for the slot car set and the toys for the movie?
Well, again, that was part of the. I guess he came up with the idea, the writer, but the idea was born out of the Hanson brothers, I should say, the Carlson brothers, and myself initially, and Guido Tenisi, who played Billy Charlebois in the movie. We had a race car set up in our apartment, and that's what we used to do on our days off. We'd get the race car sets going and would play with the slot cars.
That's awesome. I've got some of your toys here from last when you were in Australia, but I'm keeping them tight for you, no problem at all. All right, the second one. Obviously, when you're filming, you start off and, as Alan was saying earlier, you all became friends, which is unusual on a film set. Normally people are very separate. But for you guys to become chums and friends, the jabbing, the sledging, the games, the tricks behind the scenes and stuff. Can you tell us some of the better practical jokes and different things that were pulled on different people and let everyone know?
Well, Halser used to run around with his camera taking pictures of people taking showers. I mean, that was kind of sick.
Did not. That was just of you that one time.
Oh yeah. I'm the lucky one.
What website's that, Jerry?
Pardon me?
What website's all those photos on?
Yeah, right. We'll make sure they all get up there.
But practical jokes were just part of the daily routine. I mean, there was, it even went as far as we would pull the practical jokes while the scene was being filmed. Jerry would be in front of the camera doing a close-up, and the next thing you know, I would run through bare-assed naked, shaking my little weenie at him on camera and then scurry off, and he wouldn't skip a beat. It's kind of like he saw that all the time. But that kind of stuff was just, to Alan's point earlier, and Yvonne and everybody else's, that was the Hanson brothers. We weren't the actors. It wasn't our house of work. It was our house of play. And I guess we, being 19, 20, and 21 years old, just had no sense that it was a job for people.
Yep. And
so we just kind of did what we want. And there was nobody on set, I think, that was brave enough to tell us to knock it off. So it's kind of like, either buy in and return the gestures of pulling jokes, or run for the hills. But we started off, and then Newman jumped in like a dirty shirt, and it was then everybody else just started. It's an ongoing fiasco quite often, especially with all the downtime we had.
Remember Jeff stole my helmet?
Sorry, Johnny. Sorry, Alan. Who stole the helmet?
Jeff. He stole the helmet that I wore in all the games when we were filming in Johnstown, and we made this move to Syracuse and shot some away games. And the wardrobe guy, who was kind of a nervous Norton, he came in shaking. He was going, "I can't find your helmet. I can't find your helmet." And they had to buy another helmet. Yeah, they had famous Lang helmet. They had to buy another helmet, and they painted it blue. So if you go to some of the away games, there I am with this other helmet on, and but it was it turned out in the end to be Jeff that in fact stole it. No one owned up. I
I
didn't.
think he had an emergency dump he had to take, so I think that was the only thing he could use at the time. Find him.
Right. You know,
Hey, we're gonna
I ended up.
need the disclaimer, Val. We're gonna need the disclaimer.
I mean, at the end of that movie, I ended up with a little bit of PTSD. I mean, you could never let your guard down. I mean, and I can understand how the hockey players would have, they got used to doing this. I mean, it would be anything. You're in the locker room. You put your clothes on, and they had this stuff called Dr. Brown's Hell's Fire. It was like a really thick Vaseline. It was red, but it was like a Ben Gay kind of stuff that you'd rub on your back, if your back was sore, but it was really hot. And they would sit there and, like, when you're out on the ice, they'd come in, they put it like in the crotch of your underwear. You get dressed, it's there. Or your shoes you'd come in, your shoes are filled with shaving cream. Or they had one stall in the locker room that was the toilet in it, but it had walls around it, and a door, but no top on it. And if you had to go, you're in there going, you hear these, the patter of little feet outside. All of a sudden, this thing of water comes over the top, drenches you with water, and then they shake baby powder on your head. Or I worked late one night, and I came back to my hotel room. It was totally torn apart. All my clothes were knotted together and hung out the window all the way down to the ground and the bottom floor. The mattress was in the shower. I mean, it was endless. Our wardrobe guy, Tom Sharp. Tom was Tom
Bronson.
Rick Sharp was makeup.
Rick Sharp.
Yeah,
Rick
Tom
Sharp
Bronson.
was makeup. He was a
Bronson was
guy.
costumes.
Yeah, and Rick was a littler guy, and they would get him. One time I come in, they grabbed him and they completely wrapped him in tape, completely wrapped him in hockey tape, threw him in the shower, turned on the water, and ran away. And then another time he's out front. He's at, you never, oh my God, you never ever wanted to fall asleep. Not around these guys. He fell asleep one time. They ran out there, and this was at the War Memorial where we shot all this stuff. And during lunch, all the people that would be in there watching it were outside, and we would come outside to eat or whatever. And one time they went out there and grabbed him, took off all his clothes, grabbed his clothes, and they ran away. Another time, you're sitting there, they light your shoelaces on fire. I mean, it was nonstop. And I mean, it was fun. And Newman totally got into it because he's a kid himself. What did he do? He did to Tom, who's our wardrobe guy?
Bronson.
Tom Bronson. He went and filled his room with rabbits. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
His hotel room with rabbits.
Yeah.
I forget what Tom did to him, but
because he thought that Bronson was the one that was behind filling his sauna with popcorn.
we did that. Paul Newman had a sauna put in down by the pool because he liked to drink at night, but every morning, he'd go down there and he'd sweat it out in the morning and be on the set. And we went one night. We thought it'd be really funny to fill it with popcorn. So we go down there, we fill his sauna with popcorn, not realizing that it's on a timer and it's going to go on in the morning and light the popcorn on fire. Oh, he thought Tom did it?
Yeah, he thought Bronson did it. That's why he filled his room with rabbits or whatever, chickens, whatever the hell it was.
How many rabbits?
Listen, guys. Listen, I want to talk a little bit about obviously Paul Newman. There is breaking news. The breaking news is the Penguins won 5-4 in overtime. So I guess that's why you're lucky. 4-5, 4-3, doesn't matter. They won. That's why he's wearing his Pittsburgh.
How many goals did you get in that game, Gouche?
I don't know. I got 3 assists. Listen, let's go around the horn here. We'll start with you, Dave. Talk to us about the encounter with Paul Newman. Of course, he's larger than life. Obviously, no longer with us, but he was amazing in the movie, as you would know. He's being the actor he was. But tell us something funny that you saw throughout the movie with him as you were shooting it. First Dave, then Yvonne, then Johnny Upton, and then of course Jerry.
Well, actually, the first time I met Paul, I didn't think it was very funny at the time, but in hindsight, it was pretty funny afterwards. there's a scene in the movie where Paul's trying to take a pregame nap, and and it's right after he put a bounty on Dr. Hook McCracken's head, and Killer Carlson calls him on the phone, and then Lily comes knocking at the door, so forth, so on. So that kind of came from a real episode I had with Paul the first time I met him. I'm in my apartment, which was basically the apartment that was in the movie, trying to take a pregame nap, and there's knocking going on my door. And I'm trying to think who my roommates were at the time. I think it might have been Bruce Boudreau and Henry Taylor.
Gabby.
And so they wouldn't get out of bed. They're sound asleep. So I'm the one that gets up out of bed in my underwear and my dirty socks, and I fling the door open, and I look. And it's a guy that looks just like Paul Newman standing in front of me. And he says, "Oh, geez, are you Dave?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I'm Paul Newman." I said, "Well, I guess you are." And he says, "Did I wake?" I said, "Yeah, I got a game tonight." I said, "What's up?" And he says, "Well, geez, I got some guys from the art department. I want to come in and take a look at what a hockey player's apartment looks like. Do you mind if I come in?" And I says, "No, Paul, I don't mind at all. I'm going back to bed. Just make sure, you behind you when you leave." So as I'm walking back and those guys are piling in, he says, "Hey, Dave," he says, "do you mind if I watch the race on TV?" I said, "No problem." He said, "You got any beer?" And I said, "Yeah, that's in the fridge too. Just go ahead and grab whatever you want. Just make sure you close the door." That was my first encounter with Paul Newman, and we became pretty good friends after that.
Go, Yvonne.
Okay,
Go,
that's
Yvonne.
my turn. Okay. First, I was a French Canadian actor. Newman was an idol for me, so I was really impressed the first days we met. But we had fun because his children were learning French, and I spent a few times with him to write letter in French to his children. And but the scene we did at the bar, we had so much fun because he was unable to not laugh when I said, "Are you crazy? He has a big cock like a whore." We had to remake this scene maybe 10 times, and drinking Budweiser, so that was a pretty good moment. He was fantastic to work with, very nice, in good shape, and a gentleman. Yeah, that's it for me.
Fini.
So Finny. So I met Paul. Why are we echoing? Why am I hearing echo?
It's got to be Hauser.
It's Hauser. Okay.
Hauser.
I
Lips
met
are
Paul.
moving, nothing's coming up, but it's echoing.
I met Paul when I did the first audition at Universal, and again, as everybody said, he was an actor's actor. He was a great guy, and he was, larger than life. But we ended up being pretty good friends, and we ended up doing a couple more movies together. I did Buffalo Bill with him and Robert Altman's Buffalo Bill, and then I did a film up in Montreal called Quintet that not many people have seen. And it was, I ended up becoming pretty good friends with him. I used to go visit him in Weston, Connecticut, or Westport? No, Westport, Connecticut. And, real regular guy. He'd sit around the kitchen table and talk about races, which I knew nothing about, but talk about hockey, which I did know something about. I got tons of stories about Paul, but one of the nicest ones was when we finished filming Slapshot. He was given a BMW 535i or 533i that he was to drive around, but he never used it that much. But I guess they drove him around to the set in that car, but he used his RV. And I don't know if you remember when we went to Syracuse, Dave, we had a little party, and we took he gave us the RV.
Yeah.
And my friend Tommy Hanson, who's now passed, but he and his wife and you and Jeff and me, and we all went to that park somewhere in Syracuse and had a great time in the afternoon and kind of going on paddle boats and stupid stuff like that. But he just, he said, yeah, take the RV, go have some fun, And then I ended up buying his car. He was giving it to Susan, and then he came to me and he said, Susan doesn't want the car. And I said, well, I'll buy it. And he said, just go buy it. Just go talk to the Teamster captain. So I went to the Teamster captain. Can't remember his name, but I ended up buying a brand new BMW 535i for $9,000 cash. And it was cash. I had it wired to the Western Union in Johnstown. And that's the end of my story, Jerry.
May I say something?
Yes.
Yes. We don't talk about him very often, but Strutter Martin was a fantastic guy.
Oh, yeah.
Great actor to work with. I think he's the one who gave the tone to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gave the spirit. And that was fantastic to work with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was great.
He left too soon.
Jeff's got a great story about him afterwards when the movie was all wrapped up and we all went on our merry ways and we were still playing, and Jeff talks about, I think he was in Phoenix, playing in Phoenix, and the game's over with and his trainer, somebody comes up and says, hey, there's some old guy out here waiting for you. And he goes out and it was Struther.
Oh my God.
He said him and Struther went out drinking that night together. Yeah. So it was
too much.
Pretty good.
We went and one night, I don't think you were there, Jerry, but I know Ned was there. We were in LA and we went and visited him up in his Malibu Lakes home. He had this home in Malibu Lakes, which is near Agoura. You're muted, Jerry. If we can't hear you.
Jerry, put your song.
Jerry, you're muted.
That's exactly what we did it for. We just wanted him to come up and look good.
Hey, while he's muted, I'm going to show you a picture of Ned as my Sam, your Australian group watchers will like this. So Ned is in this picture as he was my first AD. I was directing a film with Meatloaf as the star. And see, there's Ned.
Okay.
And there's me talking to Meatloaf.
Okay.
And all those guys in the back, those are the Hells Angels
Nice.
who we used in the film. And they were great. And I'll never forget that.
I like how am I still muted?
Yeah, Jerry.
No.
We hear you now.
Yay!
Go.
Well, I just like that this went all the way from
No, you're not muted, but you're frozen.
Hey, wait a minute, Jerry, before you start. I was not the only one that you took pictures of.
I didn't take that picture. That's not my picture.
Hey, guys, this is a family show.
Yeah, that's another Hauser photograph.
No,
Yeah, there you go.
not. I'm getting a bad rep here. That's all I know. Am I still frozen?
No, we see it perfectly.
Oh,
Go.
good.
Your sound.
Time for your close-up, Jerry.
I just like the fact that we got all the way from Paul Newman to Struther Martin to the Hells Angels. That was very impressive.
And to Jeff Carlson sitting on a washing machine with a towel.
Yeah, I like my Paul story that Paul was racing his cars at the time, and first of all he was really a great guy. I mean, he was as everyone's described him. He was one of the guys, and to be one of the guys as famous as he was tough for him. We'd go down to the bar at night in the hotel, and he'd sit there and he'd be talking. We'd be hanging out and we're talking. He's got a beer, sets the beer down on the table next to him, and turns to say something, goes back. Beer bottle's gone. I mean, somebody would just come by and grab the beer bottle because now they've got Paul Newman's beer bottle.
Was he going through his Coors period then, or his Budweiser?
No, he was Budweiser.
Yeah,
Budweiser. Yeah,
it was Budweiser.
Yeah,
but he was a great guy. That scene that I do on the bus, though, where I say I'm going to change my name. I'm going to call myself Killer. So we shot that scene. We did kind of a master on that scene. Then we shot Paul's close-up. And then I'm doing my close-up with the script supervisor because Paul had a race in the Poconos and had to leave.
I think I sat in for your eye line, Jerry.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did want to say that whole idea of Paul being a part of the team, that's what George did. Like and he changed his attitude. He acted different. He acted more like a real guy. You know what I mean?
Well, they also put him in the hockey guys, Dave and the rest of the guys. You have to understand, on a movie set, there is absolutely a hierarchy and different levels. You have the director, obviously, in this case, George Roy Hill. And then you have the assistant, you have the first assistant director, the second assistant director, you have the production manager. I mean, it goes right on down the line. And when you have things, if you're trying to find something out, you would go to the production manager maybe. You might go to the second AD, say something like this. Dave's out. I think it was you, wasn't it, Dave? You were out one night, whatever, and they're out. And it's like 1 a.m, and they'd been out drinking or whatever. And they called George Roy Hill in his room at the hotel. Hey, George, what time you want us there tomorrow? I mean, that's like unheard of. You'd be on the bus home the next day. Yeah, there he is. George, what a great guy.
I don't know, you guys know that, but he's a Minnesota boy. He's from Minnesota. Yeah, just like us. He's actually St. Paul. I think so. Yeah.
But what was cool too, and what was cool for me, it was, I'd been acting for a few years up to this point, and I'd worked with a number of directors that were kind of, helping me along or whatever. You were there, but George was expecting you to do the work. There was no hand holding. I remember I did one scene for him, and I went up afterwards doing the typical insecure actor thing, where he said, "Okay, great, print it. Let's go. Let's move on," and I go up and I go, "So that was okay?" And he said, "I printed it, didn't I?" Okay. It's like he was, you were there to do your job. And
he knew he knew what he wanted.
Yeah, and it was very empowering too. It was really empowering because he gave you the responsibility to deliver.
Well, he worked me hard on that. I'm not going out there, I'm going to wiggle it at him. And on that scene, man, I did that about 10 times. And he was like, he came up to me after about the 10th take and he goes, that was really good, but can you do it better?
Well, Struther, that scene with Struther, you mentioned him earlier, where he comes in, he's just fuming toward the end of the movie. He's just fuming, they came out to see the toughest team in the Federal League, not this bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
And he came in and did a rehearsal absolutely at that level. I mean, it was amazing. It's the first time we saw him. I was watching. It was just amazing. George turns and says, "Are you going to do it like that?"
Yvonne, I believe you had something to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I would like to say we were shooting for a week, and I was anxious about my work. Was I doing right? And I was having a drink at a bar at midnight, and I decided to call George Hill at his room. So
You
he
too.
took the phone and said, "Hello, who's talking?" I said, "It's Yvonne. I would like to talk to you." "What do you want to talk about? It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be up at 5 tomorrow morning." "We will talk at breakfast." So the morning after, was entering the cafeteria at the hotel, and he walked to me and he said, "What do you want to talk about?" I looked at him and I said, "I'll call you tonight."
I never heard that story.
Gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for coming on my little portion of the Gooch Live kind of big production that it is. I've worked with Gooch for a fair while now, so you can imagine what it's like to actually work with professionals. So thank you very much for that. My final question before the big fella jumps back up. Highlight of the filming or highlight of the moments past, like you were saying, since you started doing the reunions in 2002. Can you give me one highlight each that just stands out? I know that must be hard, but just one. I'll start with Dave, Yvonne, Alan, and then we'll finish with Jerry.
Okay.
Sam, that's a tough one. And I've thought about that. And honestly, I can't come up with a highlight. I can tell you that during the filming, there came a point where there was a low life point for us where, we, being Jeff, Steve, and myself, got so bored because we had to sit around so much and wait, and we couldn't go outside for fear of getting a suntan. You'd have your winter white skin in one scene. They didn't want you to have the July brown skin in another. And so we started cracking beers, during the afternoon, and we'd get to a point sometimes in the evening, and they'd finally get around to us, and we were so drunk that George would say, "That's a wrap. We'll do it tomorrow morning." I mean, I kind of, we actually took off and said, we're going to get a break. We're just leaving. And the next thing we know, George is trying to track us down with the state police to bring us back, or else, he was going to sue us and shut the film down and so forth and so on. So,
wow.
It was an ongoing, I think that's one of the reasons why we started pulling practical jokes. We just had to make it more fun because it was a lot of work. And so, I think the biggest, best thing out of it all, as we've said over and over, is just the friendships we've maintained over the years and the opportunity to keep talking about this stuff and still laughing. I mean, other than the story Yvonne just told that I had no idea either about the call. I mean, he's never told that story in front of us
I
before.
never heard that story before.
But these other stories that go around, they're stories that we've told over and over, and yet like a fresh new story that we just laugh at more and more each time.
Yeah. All right, Yvonne, please.
Oh, my best memory is in 2002 when we went back to Philadelphia to raise money for Louise Arthurs, who had multiple sclerosis. My friend Ken Blake brought us back into that because he sent me some pucks to sign, and when at first I said, "What do you want me to write on the pucks? I'm not a collector." And I sent the puck, and in the box I put a call sheet from the movie. From that call sheet, he was able to be in touch with most of the people who worked on the movie. And when he met Louise and Janet Arthurs, he realized that Louise had multiple sclerosis. So he went back to me and said, "You think we could raise money through Slapshot fans to help Louise?" I said, "Sure." I gave him my original script, and finally we went back to Philadelphia one night, and the day after to Johnstown for the first time since the movie had been shot. And we were maybe 15 people from the movie, with all the people from Johnstown were in the movie as extras. When they made that movie, they were 7 years old, and now they were 40 years old. And we were all sitting around the arena, and we raised $25,000
Wow.
to Louise that night.
Wow.
And so from that point, I knew that we had something to give back from that movie. And that, for me, that's a great memory.
And that's something that no one can ever say. It's the amount you guys give back. So please, Alan.
Well, for those of you who don't know, the Arders girls, the sisters, were the well-endowed twins of the movie, who were our fans in the movie. And they were, I just said well-endowed. You don't have to put this crawl on now. Not as if I said they had big tits, right? Oh, I did. Okay.
Hey, Jerry, hang on. Let's make sure we don't show the pictures of those shower scene, okay?
Thanks,
But
Dave.
I was trying to think. I like everybody else. You know, you try to think of what's the highlight. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is the highlight the fact that we're still friends? That's terrific. But is the highlight also that this film that wasn't really well received when it first came out is still alive today and is still something that we can think about and be proud of and make money for other people on? And then I got to tell you, this strangest highlight. I mean, I think it's great that we can do these, golf tournaments and make money for people and help junior hockey leagues and help everything. I'm down for anything. But I got to tell you, I lived in the United Arab Emirates for 3 years. And when they discovered I was in Slapshot, I became this like this icon for 2 days during a hockey tournament in Dubai.
Oh, jeez.
And it was amazing. It was like they love hockey over there. I was signing autographs and I was all by myself. I sang the national anthem. One of the players
Which national anthem?
got in touch with the Mad Brothers and got a bunch of jerseys and pictures sent over, and I signed them. And I signed your name, Jerry. I signed your name, Yvonne. I signed everybody's. No, but it was. I mean, the United Arab Emirates. Come on, man. And so I'm looking forward to coming to see you in Australia, Sam. That's been a dream of mine. I've only been to Darwin.
Yes, that's a great place to be. That's fun.
Yeah, that was a shock for me. To go to Australia and quite honestly, and I say this with all affection for Wayne Gretzky, but I think more people are happy to see me than they were to see Wayne, because my line was.
Hang on to that story. Hang on to that. I'm going to bring it up at the end. Jerry, can you give us your highlight? And then Dave, you're absolutely true. Wait to hear this story.
Well, first I'd echo what Alan said, which is the fact that as an actor, as that being my career for so many years, to have something that has legs like this movie has had, and to be part of something like this really ends up being kind of a privilege, being a part of it. I mean, it's not my movie, but I had a chance to be in that movie, and that's really it's really cool. It's really fun. It's fun to be a part of something that brings and continues to bring so many people so much joy. People are genuinely excited when they see us. And I mean, it's nothing we did other than we're a part of this movie that really touched them. And it's so meeting people and seeing people like that is really, it's a great joy, and it really is a lot of fun. Nobody comes up to me to say, "Oh man, I saw you in Barnaby Jones. Oh, I just love that."
Come on, Sandstorm.
And as far as when we did the movie, I mean, my eyes were this big during the entire movie. It was a brand new world for me. First of all, I'm sitting here doing scenes with Paul Newman. I mean, pretty much the biggest star there was at the time. And I'm there with Paul. I'm working with Paul Newman. I'm hanging out with Paul Newman, and now I'm hanging out with all these professional hockey players, nothing. I never wanted to leave the locker room, because in the locker room I looked just like them. You know, once I hit the ice, no, not a chance. On my best day, you know, my hardest slap shot didn't come close to one of their passes. So I think the high point was really there just multiple times throughout the shoot of just being there with Paul and George Roy Hill and all the guys. You know, it was a fantasy when we were doing it.
I can definitely say that what you were saying there with your admiration of Paul Newman, as soon as kind of I saw that it was your anniversary coming up for the release of the Slapshot movie, I said to Gouche, come on, surely you can pull a few strings and get them on. And the moment he said, yep, no worries, now I've been in panic mode thinking, oh my God, I mean, you guys are legends here. You know, everyone has a Chief shirt. Everyone, as soon as everyone knew that you were coming on, I get the Yvonne comments saying, you know, tell them I fucking whatever, you know, trade me, and then, you know, hang up the phone. You know, Johnny with his girlfriend. Oh, Johnny doesn't like to think about those things, and you know, Terry with the I got no phone. But I've got to say, my favorite, and I know this is a minor part of the movie, but Dave, my favorite part is where you take the goalie's feet off and just skate off as if that was just the nicest, coolest thing. Just when you take his feet out. Simple, small, but just so elegant. I loved it. So thank you so much. And I can say that my daughter now has watched this. My daughter being probably 12 when she watched it. My wife and I obviously new to the Slapshot. And then that generation will just keep going. So thank you from many generations. Myself personally cannot wait to get you here in Australia. We will be doing whatever we can. I know Gouche is pushing it, but thank you so much for coming on today, guys.
You're welcome.
Great pleasure. Very well.
All right. Thanks, Sammy. You stay on back down in the green room. We got to talk about you while we're. Hey, guys, listen, just before I let you go, obviously,
hey, Gouche, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
You guys are more than welcome.
I want to ask Dave a question, because I absolutely remember that moment in the movie when you're doing that. Where did that come from when you did that? That smile, was that just you? That was just you having fun?
Just me having fun, buddy.
I love that. I love that. It's so, and you know what? That's, I think, certain aspects of the movie that people really like. It's just genuine, you know, they're just these genuine moments. And I think that's what really organically connects with people. Are these
actually moments. Jerry, if I might interrupt, Dave and I worked on that look several days. Actually, it was days, and the move is called a slew foot, and then the smile after, we called that a smirk.
I got it. Okay.
So that's the slew foot smirk.
Well, you know what? A song about that one, Alan?
I'm writing it tonight.
Hey, but seriously, Alan, Jerry was too busy in the shower scene, so he wouldn't have time to. Hey, listen, I just want to say, one of the famous lines from you, Jerry, was "One with the universe, one with the universe. Nothing matters."
Yeah.
So I want to go back to you, Dave, for a sec, and this is not to suggest by any means you're Wayne Gretzky, but we were doing the event. There was a big, huge party. Wayne Gretzky's in the room, and I saw Dave walk in, and he didn't have his jersey on. So I, hey, Dave, put your jersey on. And then he threw his glasses on. And I can honestly say the people that were all with Gretzky turned, and they all ran to Dave to get your autograph and take pictures. And that's not, Dave, you know, that was not, and I'm thinking, guys, that's Wayne Gretzky. No, but that's a Hanson brother.
That's fun.
You're more than welcome to throw in. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to tell you a Gretzky story. So I was working on Saturday Night Live in one of my iterations of my life, and Gretzky was on the show. I think he was hosting it, and he shot some pre-game stuff, pre-show stuff up in the Sky Rink in New York. And so I went up there, and I'm sitting around with John Davidson, who was the goaler, Mike Myers, and Wayne Gretzky. And we're just sitting around on these like folding chairs, talking about Slapshot. That's all they wanted to talk about.
Well, he was really impressive. There's no question while we were there. And I know Yvonne, both Yvonne and Dave have had the opportunity to travel with the Gouche show, and it's always entertaining. We've always got some fun.
My invitation must have gotten lost somewhere.
Well, I didn't know you. I tried to call you, but you were in the shower and there was a lot of water going on. So I said, screw it, I'm not going to get him. But this is an open invitation.
I didn't think I'd go this way.
This is an open invitation. When we do get back to some normality and then we can actually fly from country to country, it is an open invitation. It'll be the last time, I can honestly say that. We are working on right now to do an outdoor game in Queenstown. And it will be for their winter festival. So I'm going to do, with all my powers, and hopefully I can rob a bank, I'm going to find a way, if you guys are all well enough to travel and you get that vaccine thing, because I think some of you guys
did both of them. I'm done.
Me too.
I thought that was only for guys that were over 80.
I met that guy in the shower.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So when the younger cast and crew, Dave, myself, and Yvonne get their vaccination, and we all can go over. Honestly, it will be an invitation. I'm working on as we speak. Dave, you've been over there. You know that it's an incredible trip. So we're going to keep on working on that. It's officially going to happen. It's just whether or not I can find a way to throw you guys in the bags. What I wanted to say as we let you guys go, you guys have been absolutely phenomenal with me, myself personally, to come and go to Winnipeg and do the golf tournaments. You know, as before this pandemic hit, the Winnipeg golf tournament has been talked about so much that we were planning to go back again. And then we thought of maybe doing a couple more because obviously, you know, the ice scenes, Dave can't do what he used to. And certainly Yvonne I think he's been prohibited going back on the ice after the last time. He almost killed himself. Where he thought he was actually a goaltender and some kid dangled him and he ended up in the hospital for 6 weeks or something like that. But I want to thank you guys all really for helping us raise money. You've helped our causes, but I do want to end it with this, that we know that Jeff has been struggling. I tried to get a hold of Hunter just to get an update. Davey, maybe you can tell us, is there anything new on the Jeff front?
Yeah, I talked to him actually 2 days ago. He sounds great. You know, he says he's exercising. So for Jeff, you know, and another thing for Jeff, he says he hasn't had a beer since since October or something. You know, some ridiculous amount of time. But he still has no, it's not smoking either. He's not smoking. He's not drinking, and he has to eat through a tube in his belly still, though. So they're telling him, you know, within another month he goes back and sees the surgeon, and if his issues with his ability to swallow don't improve, they may look to perform surgery again, try to correct it. Yeah.
Well, we send all our thoughts and prayers to him. Of course, we've had him on a couple of road trips, and it was entertaining, let me tell you. And listen, guys, as we let you go, I just want to thank you for what you do for us. We will be doing some events. Here's a great picture. I don't know where exactly this was. Look at the boys. That's the Toronto. That's the Scotiabank Center.
Oh, that was the Hall of Fame weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I know where it's not, and that's Salt Lake City.
With Jason Harris.
Which I was never at.
You were, so I've got pictures of it.
Yeah.
We'll check if they're in the shower.
You and House got these sneaky pictures.
Well, you know, I've become best friends with Jerry, and he showed me all the pictures of how to do it. Hey, guys, really, last word for each one of you. Dave. Okay, move on to Yvonne.
Goodbye.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Last word?
Just make sure you give me a grape or an orange. None of that stinking root beer. There you go.
Hey, there's a great picture of you guys with Christian, our executive producer's son. You guys just make so many people smile. I can't tell you. And oh, by the way, look at everybody smiling. Dave, you're not in that picture. Yvonne.
Yes.
Final word.
Just don't trade me, please. Keep me
Alan.
as I am.
Yeah, you are beautiful. We love
You're
you.
in.
Alan.
Get well, Jeff. And see you soon, guys.
Okay. Jerry.
But you know what? I want to say thank you to you. You know, you're the one headmanning all of this stuff, and I just really appreciate all you're doing. It's great to be a part of it. It's great to see everyone, you know, and thank you to you. You're doing an amazing job.
No, it's easy when you have the canvas like this. It's easy, and we'll let that Val kid come up too. Hey, listen, is that a picture? Final question. I really apologize, but I have to go there. Jerry, you didn't take that picture because there's somebody in the shower. Seriously.
Brad.
I didn't do it. It's not my MO. I might have taken a picture of the ladies, but
look at
we love you guys.
Look at the actor's reaction
Beautiful
behind
girls.
them. Like the actor right there.
That's Brad.
He's like photo bombing the picture. It's like, hello.
Him and that
He thought it was a selfie. Okay, guys, thank you. Listen up.
Nice seeing
We will be
everyone.
doing this again.
Good to see you, man.
We will be reliving this again with Johnson & Johnson. We've just been confirmed. We're going to be doing an event with Johnson & Johnson. We raise money for Stop Concussions, and we're going to have a Slapshot event around it, and you will all be invited. And there's actually, I'll tell you later. I won't tell you on camera. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Davey,
Good night,
thank you for the
Dave.
update
Nice
on
meeting
Jeff.
you, Sam.
I had a
Thank you.
Christian for me, Dave.
Hey, Val.
Bye, guys.
Seeing you, boys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
God bless you, boys.
Thanks, Jerry.
Unbelievable. How much fun was that?
Oh.
That was unbelievable. Dave was, Yvonne is, Jerry. I know we bugged him about the showers. I didn't even know he did that, so I had to run on that one. And then Alan, you know, they're such nice human beings. When we had him in Winnipeg, after you put together that plan, that's where I really learned. You know, I've been with Yvonne on the Autobahn, driving down the Autobahn, and it was crazy how much fun we had. And there I look across, and there he is sitting in the car. We're going 200 kilometers an hour, and he's laughing in the back seat. And with Jeff with Dave in Australia, it was amazing how good they were with the fans and taking time out. So absolutely amazing. Yep. Listen, we're just waiting for Richard Orth to come on. Let's see if he's on.
Yeah,
he is. Well, I don't see him.
He's down there.
Okay,
Rich and Kate.
Yeah, good. All right, we'll bring him up in a second. Yvonne, is Yvonne still there?
Yes, Yvonne's still here. Yeah.
Bring Yvonne up for a second.
Okay, no worries. I do
Yes,
have
sir.
to before you say anything. I have had the pleasure of meeting each and every one of them via you, and we've got to work a lot of events with them. And when I actually tell people I actually know the guys from Slapshot, it's an actual truth, and it's an honor. Like they've shown me anything but love and welcomed me into their circle, and I've got friends for life. And Yvonne is one of my favorite, Dave and everything, and even Jerry and Alan. So it's been a lot of fun seeing these guys over and over again. It's been a while.
Watch it, pal.
But we'll have
Jerry
to get
may
together.
take a picture.
No. Wait, where's the disclaimer for Alan? Hold on, there's a disclaimer for Jerry.
So good night.
He's muted.
Oh, there he is.
All right, guys, listen, we want to bring one of the biggest fans up. He's got a website that's absolutely incredible. And I got to tell you, I don't know why I'm echoing again, Jerry.
It's okay, hold on. Maybe I can fix it.
All right. You know what's incredible? Nobody knows this outside of Val, myself, and my wife. We played the opening scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And Facebook shut us off.
I know.
Yeah. So, no, we've still got people that have been watching, but we were literally cut off. So we're going to do the Val's going to take care of it.
I
He's
will
gonna-
edit out certain portions, and then we will definitely have the full length video posted up in a couple days of the interview of you gentlemen and your reunion and everything. It's great seeing you guys again. It's really awesome. So, especially the new stories.
You're not allowed to show video, I guess, over 2 minutes. We accidentally see, Yvonne, you spoke too much. That's a problem.
Surely we had
All right.
right to get all of the guys on the show. That was as good as having copyright permission, surely.
I had
You got it.
I had who shared it with us, but
Hey,
live and
bring
learn,
Kate
we'll
and-
learn.
Bring Kate and Rich up. These guys are phenomenal people. They've got a website, the greatest movie of all time. You guys, I don't know, Jared, if you've met Rich, but he's done a great job promoting the movie. They've got over 8,000 members on this.
Wow.
Yvonne, I know you know Rich, Kate, and Rich.
There we go.
Hey, guys.
Hey guys, how are you?
Fantastic.
Hey Yvonne.
Hello. Hello, Kate and Rich.
Hello, Jerry. How are you?
I'm doing
Hey,
well.
listen,
thanks.
we've got Sam Trapolino all the way from Australia. He's the one that kind of organized
Hey,
it
Sam,
when he
how are
found out.
Thank you.
Yeah, when he found out that the movie is 44 years young. It's been such a movie. It's 45?
Isn't it 45 now?
45.
No. COVID doesn't count.
Released, 45 since you guys filmed.
It was released in 77.
Yep.
But
So
we shot it
41.
in 76.
No, but it's also COVID, and we don't count that year.
Let's just say mid 40s, and we're good. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Mid
Why I
40s.
wanted Rich and Kate on, the incredible part of keeping this movie alive. Obviously, we have Ken Blake, who's done a great job, and then Rich, you guys have kept it going. And we wanted to ask you, and it's great to have Jerry and Yvonne. Jerry know it, but they have a website. Tell Jerry about it, because I don't think Jerry knows about it.
No, I do
Jerry's
know
actually-
about it.
Jerry is actually a member.
You do know about it. You do know about it.
I'm a member.
No,
All right.
seriously.
How about
what
I
validates
start
our
over?
page? What validates it is people like Yvonne, Jerry, Alan, Poodle, Mark Busquet, Paul D'Amato, all you people being with me and just interjecting when I post pictures of you or say something, and even if you just say hi to somebody, it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I could talk forever, but it doesn't matter.
You know what,
Right.
Rich?
What?
Keeping that movie alive, you keep me alive.
Then it's well worth it. I'm telling you.
That's a fantastic tribute.
Cheers,
So,
don't
Rich,
stop.
Sam is here, obviously from Adelaide. He's part of our whole Stop Concussions. We've used the movie, we've used these characters to help us raise money, not only for concussions, but also mental health issues. And Sam has come on board over the last couple of years to help us in Australia. And it was his idea to bring the boys on. And I can't tell you, it was an absolute blast, as you know. So why don't you explain to Sam, because he's kind of a newbie to all this stuff. Explain to him how much fun it's been to be behind the scenes and having this website.
I literally started doing this. Kate is going to be 32. I started doing this. She was probably 10-ish. And I met Ken Blake, and it just snowballed through all the events that he would have. I would go. We had the event that John Persinger did. And you just wear the jersey to a game, and people just come up to you, and lines you could be walking by a broadcast booth with a guy that the DJ is actually on the radio, and he will stop and yell a line at you. And it's just amazing. I can go to any stadium and have that jersey on, and people will talk to you. I've gotten backstage at rock concerts because I wore that jersey, because the guitarist saw me wearing it. And actually, he saw us afterward and brought us backstage to meet the singer, that was the former singer of Iron Maiden, one of my favorite and her favorite singers of all time. And we got to meet him just because of that jersey. It's just amazing to me. The fan base goes from just people like us off the street to stars and, athletes and every hockey player. To see some of the young players, Yvonne did a nice favor for us before, and he actually signed autographs and personalized them to Philadelphia goalies. And this was probably 12, 15 years ago.
I'm still doing it.
I handed it to one of the French goalies, and he was still with the Phantoms. His eyes lit up, and he's like, "How did you get this for me?" I said, "You guys have been signing autographs for me for years, for me and my daughter. This is the least I can do if I could pull this off." And it made his day. And to see somebody that's a professional athlete just boom, light up like that was just so worth it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely.
And, you know, I sometimes even get swag. My friend Eric Brack, who I just met literally in the last 6 months on Slapshot, sent me this gift. This car is almost impossible to find. It's a collectible. And just, I don't ask for anything doing this, but this is like, you know, stuff like that. And the friendships I've made, and we talked about this the last time I was on. We've had a friend from Wales. The reason I met him was through Slapshot. He spent a week with us here when he came to the United States. We had a friend from Finland come in. I met his brother through Slapshot, and then him later on. He came to Philadelphia for an event, and we wound up hanging out and took him to Atlantic City. But I mean, there's people all over the world I've talked to, Japan, Germany. It's just Australia. It's just amazing to me that you can just meet so many people.
Absolutely.
And it's one movie. And as I said, it's 132 minutes long or 123 minutes long. And it's just like it's not like earth shattering, but it just brings people together and it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I jump in and ask you a question? What triggered it? Well, what was the catalyst for you guys? I mean, one, obviously the love of the film for sure, but what was the catalyst for starting a website and really the collection that you started doing? What was the catalyst there?
Basically, Ken Blake, of course, we started to go to the events. We had gone to 2 in Philadelphia, and then I think I saw the guys twice at Phantoms games, and then there was the Goth event to help out the Arturs to try to get her a van when she was just having trouble finding anything to drive in because of her illness.
As you say, Rich, Ken Blake brought us together.
Yeah.
For me, I was at the premiere in Montreal at Plaza Alexinio. And the first reaction I had from people who had watched the movie, he was an Irish guy, 70 years old, and he went straight to me and said, "You're a disgrace for hockey." And that was it. From 77 to 2002. Then Ken Blake brought us together. We went back to Philadelphia, and it brought all the people from Slapshot together for the first time.
And then we had the 2 in Toronto. When we went to the second one at Toronto, my daughter was on MySpace. And after we got back, I'm like, we have all these pictures. Can you help me start a MySpace page? So I wound up having 2 Slapshot pages or on MySpace that each had about 4,500. So I had about almost 9,000 people at that time. Wow. And then Ken went to Facebook and he said, "Why don't you just come over?" And I'm like, all right, I'll go to another social media page. And I just went over there, but I found a Slapshot page, which is this one. I joined it, and I gave them all my pictures. I put them on within the first week I was there. 2 weeks later, I look up, and I saw my name out of the corner of my eye. I was the administrator. The guy turned it over to me and left the page. Oh. So that's really how this happened. I just got it thrown at me. I don't know why I'm here.
Hey, listen, I saw your swag. I got to show you mine. I got the 25th anniversary edition with extra stuff in it, signed by Dave Hanson. So I'm honored to have this. But as you just said, it's on a DVD. I don't own a DVD. And Jerry, you and I and Yvonne are old enough to remember 8 tracks. And so you've gone from MySpace, which doesn't even exist anymore.
It does, but for bands, and it's useless.
And then it's gone to Space, of course. And then Jerry, us three, the old guys, Yvonne, Jerry, and myself will love this. It then goes to Facebook, and now everybody's doing TikTok. Like, honestly.
You have to move over. Instagram.
We're
Can I ask, how does it feel when you've got people like Rich and Kate devoting so much time to a piece of work that you were a part of? That must feel pretty special.
Well, it does. I mean, it sort of ties in with what I said earlier about the fact that it's kind of, it feels like a privilege to be part of something that is that memorable to people, that you have that many. How many people do you have on the site now, Rich?
It just crossed 8,000.
Yeah,
And
8,000 people.
It's gone up about 2,000 in the last 4 months.
Wow, hockey season.
Yep. Or whatever you want to call this.
8,000 people that want to be a part of something on Facebook for a movie that's 44 years old. I mean,
I thought it was 45.
Yeah, I was going to go there.
No. See, we're not counting the
COVID.
It's the mid 40s.
That's right, the mid 40s. Yeah, that's right, Val. Thanks. I mean, it is. It's really cool, and it's. People a lot of times come up, oh, I'm sorry to bother you, or I know this is really kind of silly, but I'm thinking, are you kidding? This is totally cool. I love it when people come up, and I'm appreciative of it and flattered. And the fact, I mean, maybe this sounds silly, but the fact that just by being nice to people, you kind of really make their day. I mean, I'm not saying it's me. It's nothing to do with me. It's the movie. It's everything else. But just, I mean, what a cool, I keep using that word, but what a privilege. How nice is that to be able to contribute that way?
Well, you know what it is, Yvonne and Jerry, us three on the other side of the screen, the only time we get asked to sign an autograph, it's a check. We have to pay something. So I wanted to ask you this question. Yvonne and Jerry, well, we've got Rich and Kate. We can't thank you enough for what you do, Rich. Am I a member yet? I can't even remember if I've signed up.
I don't even know. Yeah, you have to be. I tagged you.
Okay, good. I still get messages from MySpace. So I'll come up into the 80s here soon. Can you tell us, I played hockey in Europe, and I had to sign some autographs on some pretty weird places. Could you tell us, and don't forget there's a disclaimer, could you tell us what the craziest ask was to sign? Was there something that you just said, you want me to sign that?
As opposed to like breasts and things like that?
I didn't want to go there, but yeah, is there anything that you've signed that you just thought, wow, that's really
I got to remember. I mean, there have been things, I don't know. Yvonne, how about you? Well, first of all, also Yvonne likes to write, like when he signs an autograph, he'll write a little short
lines.
He writes like Yvonne writes like a short story when he signs an autograph.
A part of the script. I was signing character show in Toronto, I think, and one guy came to me and he came to me and he said, sorry, I would like to take a picture with you, but I'm shy. Oh, nice to meet you, Shy.
Kate, what's your favorite Slapshot part? The favorite scene?
The opening scene is a great scene to play.
Yeah.
You know what? I know you just asked that question, but I got to say, Yvonne, they played that scene earlier in the show tonight. You were so good in that. You really were really good in that.
No, I was not alone. Andrew Duncan was there too.
He was unbelievable.
And he did a great...
He was a great actor. And that was the first take. We did one take, that was it. Because when we rehearsed, Andrew Duncan was not nervous. But when we shoot, his leg came up a little bit. And I really hit it with my stick. His face light, and you cannot do that twice.
No, you do that, you go to box, you feel shame.
All right, listen, Yvonne, Jerry, Rich, Sam, ask the question again.
Kate, what was your favorite part out of the movie?
I'm sorry, go I'm sorry,
Honestly,
Kate.
I was going to say the opening scene because it's just something that draws everybody in immediately. if you play that for friends, like you can't be my friend unless I sit you down and watch this movie. Like,
Well,
it's a
Kate,
requirement.
I just want to let you know
it
that
drew me in.
that opening scene got us cut off on Facebook. So.
Yeah, that scene brought a lot of people to the movie. There is nothing before the movie opened. That's there, and that's funny. And when you see a hockey movie, you start that funny. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, normally
You sound just like you do in the beginning of the movie.
One guy.
He doesn't feel shame.
Athlete. No, you see stupid people having fun, and that's all.
But it's the whole setup too. You hear the sounds in the background. It's not just like you were sitting there ready to talk. You walk to put the mic on. All the little things, the nuances, rather than just sitting there.
We had a week of rehearsal in an army gymnasium before we started shooting, and we were just sitting on bench all around the room, and I was sitting with Andrew Duncan, and he was about to open the scene, and there was a fountain just by the gymnasium, and I left him there. He was alone in front of the camera. I went to drink. I came back. He had to put my mic on, and that's it. So when we shoot the scene, George Royal had a fountain bring into the studio, the sound studio where we shoot. You know, that's how small improvisation will create that such life.
If I may, to add on to that, that scene has been recreated by Marc-André Fleury and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh yeah,
part of the thing. It's and he's and
he was very serious.
I hate the Penguins, and I laugh at that.
That was really funny. So that was a really good one. Yeah,
that was good to see. We talked about him on the phone. When we did
Hey, listen, Jerry,
his agent
can
was
you
there
can you tell us outside of the opening scene, is there another? And Rich will ask you the same question. It can't be the opening scene. Is there something that was really cool? One scene that you just said, "Wow, that was pretty funny," because you two are real actors. So is there something like, you know, when they were shaking
Newman in bed with Hanrahan's wife is kind of nice.
Let's go, Jerry.
Was that a group filming day?
No, look.
No group
I
filming
was
on
pretty-
that day.
After I had called George Royal at his room at midnight, and we became very close because of that.
So Yvonne, if I may, did you end up telling George what you wanted?
Things very special. There is a scene in the locker room where we come back from a game, and I do an epileptic crisis almost.
Yes,
you know. And I was sitting all day long just in front of the locker room because they were shooting other scenes, and I was dressed as a goalie from 8 o'clock in the morning. We were close to 6 o'clock in the night, and finally it was time to do my scene. I had lines, maybe 2 or 3 pages of lines to say that I had learned. And George came out of the locker room. He went to me and said, "Yvonne, you might be tired. Forget the lines. Do me an epileptic crisis." That was fun. See, that was one take, and that was it.
No question, one take. Rich is
it's amazing with
you know when the brothers jumped in the stands because of
like I'm signing an autograph.
And I am the last one to try to jump. And there is a wife with
You gotta love the guy.
broken my head. But I was unable not to close my eyes because I knew that she was gonna hit me with the bottle. So I had to do that thing 3 times. But the last time I kept my eyes open. So she broke the bottle in my head. I fell on the ice and cut my head.
Oh, that was
And
great.
Dr. Hill said that was perfect.
That looks so real.
Yeah, all those
Okay.
all those scenes, all the fighting scenes.
Oh yeah,
It
that was
tough
dangerous.
when you're doing all those fighting scenes, because these are real hockey players. They know how to fight. They're big guys.
Oh
And
yes.
and I'm squaring off with them, not necessarily my own scene, but just when we're on the ice and we all drop our gloves and we square off.
Yeah,
I got this
absolutely.
guy bouncing me around like I'm a rag doll,
Absolutely.
and I'm there trying to say, I'm supposed to be tough. What?
You remember when the big Indians took Alan Nichols' head and it, and
Right.
that guy was not playing professional hockey for years, and because there were 3,000 extras in the stands, that was like
A real game.
he became nervous and he lose control and he really hit Alan.
Yeah, well, it's like the story I said in that one fight scene I had, where he just snapped to what he normally does, and he had grabbed me by the hair and he's just coming up and he just hit me in the face, and I'm going, what the fuck? I mean, I've never been hit in the face like that.
Disclaimer. Yeah, get the disclaimer up.
I'm an actor.
That was the real game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen, we've taken a lot of your time, so I want Rich and Kate to give us your final words, your final thoughts. 8,000 people. You're absolutely amazing keeping this. Listen, the movie itself could keep it alive. It's just that good of a movie. Playing hockey in Germany, every bus trip, even though we saw it the week before, we had to see it again. And every German, and you know that, Yvonne, yourself, we'd go to Germany and some people couldn't say hello in English, but yet they could recite every line of the movie in English, which is crazy. So we're going to let you. Yeah, absolutely. Who owns the Chiefs? So Rich and Kate, please tell us, please wrap it up. Tell us why you do it again. Just, you got 8,000 people. Is the movie part of your life? Obviously, everywhere you turn, I see you on all the time, Rich. You're dedicated to it. And so, and the final part to that is when we're talking about that, is there another hockey movie that even comes close in your mind?
No. No, there is no other hockey movie, really. Goon is okay. I mean, I like it, but it's not even close. I don't know anybody that recites one line from Goon.
No, that's
they
right.
Love the movie. Miracle, great movie, but totally different genre to me. It's hockey, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Real quick, Yvonne, Laura says hi. My wife Laura also helps with this page, as does a friend Andre. But Laura, the first time that Yvonne ever talked to her was me handing the phone to him, and he said, "Trade me right fucking now." That was their introduction.
Wow. Okay.
Ken Blake told me that to write a sentence on a picture, and I don't know how many times I didn't since. The first time I was invited, it was in Toronto by the guy who has an autograph store.
Oh,
what's his
Hirsch.
name?
Hirsch.
Yeah,
Hirsch.
Fine. They dropped me from the plane. Somebody was waiting for me. 10 minutes after that, I was in a sound sports studio. That's you, okay? And I was the first guy to say "fuck" on sports radio.
One into the other. It was me. A funny story, Yvonne. A funny story. Carrie's like, go to the airport, pick up Yvonne. I'm like, okay, where is he? He's at Terminal 1, Air Canada. I go to Air Canada. I run all the way one end, run all the way the other end. He was like around some corner you're not allowed to go to. And like 20 minutes later,
treat me right.
We found him.
Hey.
All right, guys.
That was
Hey, so I can't thank you enough. I know Sam is really excited. Sammy, why don't you wrap it up? You've been
Oh,
fantastic.
I've got a bit of memorabilia here for Jerry behind me. I don't know if Jerry can see.
Oh, no.
Look at the dance from there, and it's even got the signature up there. So some lucky bugger. One, I can't make for you guys to come across, or when I get over there and be a part of some kind of event that we can help raise some money for some people. I love that you guys could be very, very arrogant because of your success, but you're not. You're givers. Listening to Dave say, all he wants to do is be on the next thing, and Alan about raising money, he's there.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for the giving. The movie. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll probably go now, and as soon as I get off with you guys, I'll probably go start watching it again.
Hey, and Rich and Kate, thank you for what you do, keeping us alive and giving me the opportunity to have these crazy buggers on talking about the movie.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, Gouche, I'm frozen on screen. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you look good. Hey, you look good. You're an actor.
At least it froze in a good position. I kind of like that. But I just want to thank
everybody. Hang on. Jerry, don't move. We're gonna do everybody do a Frozen act.
That's right. I'm just there holding it. That's very funny. Anyway, I want to. Gouche, I just want to thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Sam, thank you for that's a long way to go. So I appreciate you being here. Val, and thank you for all your work in putting these things together.
Anytime,
Rich
Jerry.
and Kate, great seeing you guys. And like Yvonne said, thanks for keeping it alive. It means
Absolutely.
It means a lot to us as well.
Don't forget
But seriously,
that's
the fact
important.
that you guys even interact with my page is why it works. I mean, we could talk
exactly.
all day long. And seriously, I go through 50 posts a day, and 10 of them could be the exact same thing. And it could get boring. But with you guys just interjecting or just knowing you're on the page, and people, then we post pictures of you in different roles, just something different there. It adds to the page.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry's
We
still
appreciate it.
Jerry's still frozen.
So I'll say goodbye right now.
Hey, Jerry, thank you, buddy.
You'll never know I'm gone.
Bye, Jerry.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, Rich.
Wait, I want to take a picture of myself. Hold on.
Hey, Rich,
look
before
pretty
Jerry
good.
goes, are there any posts on with shower scenes on the?
Oh, God.
No, but we do see a lot of him and Marcia.
Okay. Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey,
That's right.
Yvonne Barrette, je t'aime,
Yes.
je t'aime, je t'aime.
Je
We
t'aime,
love you.
Melanie.
You're fantastic. Jerry, you were
Yvonne,
fantastic.
Yvonne, it's great seeing you, buddy. I always love
thank you,
you.
guys.
Always.
You're a wonderful
Thank you,
guy.
Rich and Kate.
Thank you,
God
guys.
bless you guys.
Guys.
Bye.
God
bye.
bless
Much
you.
love.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Jerry, wave goodbye. Jerry, wave.
We can't hang up until you wave goodbye. Frozen scene.
Yeah, nobody wants to close.
Oh, man, look at Hauser. What an attitude. He won't even wave
Lucky you
goodbye.
fine.
Okay,
kids.
we go by Alf.
There he goes.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Rich.
Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
Kate.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing. You're absolutely amazing. All right, guys. Hey, that was a long show. I'll tell you what, Yvonne's staying on that long. Jerry's still frozen.
No, he's gone.
It was great to have Rich and Kate, too. What a great show. Val, thank you for staying on and doing it.
No worries.
I know that we really entertained the
Hold on.
crowd. We will do this. Yeah.
Just an update, and for you.
1-1.
Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, what's going on there?
No, I just thought I'd represent since they're playing the Habs today. It is 1-1 at the end of the second.
You got it. All right, guys. Hey, thank you. You've been watching Gouche Live, a long one, Aussie style, all the way from here from Toronto. And, of course, Etobicoke, I think we could say, and Sammy Yu in Adelaide, Australia. I'll tell you what, once we put this up, people are going to love it. So thank you so much, both of you, for doing a great job. You've been watching Gouche Live right here with the Hockey News and, of course, Sports Illustrated.
Thanks, Val. It was great to have someone who knew what they were doing.
You've been listening to Gouche Live with your host, Kerry Goulet, better known as The Gooch, brought to you by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated.